What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt. So I made this joke tweet the other day about how OLEDs have a problem with pretty much black crush and shadow detail, and since then I've been called a liar and people saying that I'm just, jealous because I don't have an OLED, which is silly as hell because I was like literally one click away from buying a freaking OLED, and this particular OLED, the LG CX or C10. And one of the reasons, as I stated in my video when I talking about the TV I ended up getting, the Sony X900H, I told you shadow detail and black crush was one of the reasons why I decided against buying the TV. Now, funny, I just happened to be on AVS forums, and a user there actually has both TVs. He has the Sony X900H and also the LG CX or C10, and he's trying to decide which one he should keep and which one he should take back, and took pictures of both of the TVs using the same content, and very interesting. So I snatched some of the pictures from that thread, and let's look at what we have here. So here it looks like I guess it's a picture of, I think this is Halo. I don't know. Picture of Halo running on both TVs. Now, if you look, you notice that first of all, the top is the Sony X900H. The bottom is obviously the LG CX. And the block levels, they look incredible on the bottom, but if you look a little closer, the shadow detail is non-existent, and a lot of details are being crushed out. Look at the top of that waterfall. On the Sony, you can see that there's clearly a lot more stuff up there. On the CX, not so much. The point I was making with that tweet is say you're playing a game, say you're playing Halo. If somebody is up there on top of that waterfall, laying down on the stomach, sniping, on the Sony, you're going to see them. On the CX, you're not, and you're going to die. That's what I'm talking about. These raised blacks, or these crust blacks and lack of shadow detail, if you're playing a competitive game, it's going to result in you getting killed more often than not. Especially if they're hiding in the shadow, or they're hiding in a dark area, or if the TV is not showing you this, how are you supposed to see it? And it's not even just the games. Like these other comparisons that he put, it's just straight up lack of shadow detail. Look at this comparison here of the intro to The Dark Knight. Look at this jacket on the bottom. It's missing detail because the black crush. And the jacket, it's not even a black jacket. That's what's crazy. These OLEDs have problems displaying near black colors. So whether it be a dark brown, dark blue, dark purple, really, really dark gray, it just a lot of times just turns the pixel off and just makes it straight black. Now, if it's not a direct comparison to another TV, it looks really good because you don't know really what you're missing, and due to the inky blacks, like it makes kind of like a 3D looking image and it pops and it looks really good, but you are missing detail. Another comparison he had here is Back to the Future. Again, if you saw the bottom one by itself, you're like, whoa, that looks pretty good. But if you look at the top, you see what you're missing. Detail. You're missing detail. But in case you think that I'm just, making this up, and if the picture evidence this still isn't enough for you, let's hear from a professional TV reviewer that everyone knows that actually prefers OLEDs every single year. Let's roll that beautiful beam footage.
Now, let's talk about picture quality. And I think you know where I'm going to go here, but there may be a couple of surprises on the way. I'm definitely going to try and tick all of the boxes for you here. All right, so let's start with black levels. It has perfect blacks, but I wouldn't say that the black levels themselves are perfect. Actually, what I should say is the dark gray levels are not perfect. See, OLED TVs have trouble coming out of black because they need a certain amount of voltage before they light up. And because of the way a TV's electro-optical transfer function works, OLED TVs just kind of skip a couple of dark gray levels before they start showing a gray. And what that results in is crushed black levels. Yes, you can even crush black levels with an OLED TV. Is that a problem? Most of the time, absolutely not. I suppose if you're watching really, really dark content, like Ozark is one I always bring up from Netflix, it can look very dark, like too dark. Maybe you're not seeing stuff in shadows. But the real issue that it presents is with some gaming situations, which I'll talk about in just a minute. One caveat, we found that in extremely dark game areas, like if you're in a first-person shooter and you go into a dark tunnel or a cave or something like that, you're gonna have trouble seeing around. So if you're a hardcore first-person shooter, competitive gamer, and you play a lot of games with dark scenes or your enemies are hiding in the shadows, that may not be so great for you.